Let's do a royal wrap. The Duke of York has fled to Balmoral to the safety of the Queen's private estate, where he's reportedly set to remain when his sex abuse case, is heard next week.
For more, let's welcome in royal commentator Angela Mollard. And apparently Prince Andrew was going a bit stir-crazy inside the Royal Lodge, and he couldn't go outside because of multiple attempts to serve him with legal papers.
That's right. Apparently he hasn't been able to go horse riding. He hasn't been able to go walking around his grand estate in Windsor. So he and Fergie, his ex-wife, jumped in their car, drove 800 kilometres to Balmoral, the Queen's Scottish residence. This is apparently because he's wanting to not be around to have those papers served on him. His security guards have apparently turned attempts away to serve those papers. So he's scampered off to Mummy's house to get away from it. Of course, that case begins next week in New York. It's a civil case brought by Virginia Giuffre, and she's, of course, claiming that Prince Andrew forced her to have sex with him against his will at the behest of Jeffrey Epstein.
Now, the Queen is meant to be holidaying at Balmoral. Now the Duke is crashing the party. Will she feel compelled to make a public statement at any point on this?
Oh, look, I very much doubt it. We know that the Andrews interview about this matter was an absolute car crash. I don't think anyone in the royal family, let alone their aides, will be speaking about this. She hasn't spoken to it at all. I think they are just hoping this issue will go away. Of course, this is a tricky time for the Queen because this is her first time, this is her first summer, the Northern Hemisphere summer, at Balmoral without her husband after he died earlier this year.
Look, moving on now, and there's been a bit of speculation about the Duchess of Cambridge. Where is she at the moment? Some people are saying she might be pregnant. And what do you think? What's the latest?
Look, that is quite unusual for us not to see Kate for a couple of months. I think it's 60 days now. Look, of course, it's August, which is, we've just gone through August, which is school holidays for little kids in England. So I imagine they've been at their Norfolk estate spending time together. But it is unusual that there has been no statement to say, that it's just having family time. There is huge speculation that she could be pregnant with a fourth child. And of course, we know that in the past, when she's been pregnant, she's had terrible morning sickness. So look, I'm hoping we'll hear something next week. We would expect to see her. But of course, also Prince William and Kate were very, very busy during the COVID crisis, speaking to people in the health services. So the fact is they may just have been having a holiday.
Maybe tired after all that speaking.
It is exhausting.
Well, it's about time for another royal baby, isn't it? For sure, because Lilibet's sort of old news now. Oh, Lilibet, by the way, is set to meet the Queen after Harry and Meghan allegedly put in a request to have a meeting with Her Majesty.
Oh, look, I love this story because, of course, Harry and Meghan have so much front. There they go. They sort of critique the entire royal family with their interview with Oprah, and now they're demanding to meet up with the Queen, to bring Lilibet back to the UK and for her to be christened, as Archie, their little son, was at Windsor Castle. Look, there's been no response from Buckingham Palace as to whether this is actually going to take place, but the audacity of this couple to think, yeah, we'll just have this bit of royal life, but we won't have the other bits. We won't do any hard work for them, but we'll come back and use the castles and the palaces and of course the Queen's name.
That would be so tense if it does happen. Could you imagine? Speaking of babies, and maybe potentially on a happy note, Beatrice's baby is said to be due next month. What about any names have we heard? Will there be another nod to the Queen, perhaps, or maybe even the late Prince Philip?
Look, I doubt she'll mention Philip if she has a boy, because, of course, her sister usually gave the name Philip to her son as a second name, as did Zara Phillips. Her little son, Lucas, is called Lucas Philip. Look, there's all the usual speculation that it'll be an Arthur or an Albert or an Alice or a Victoria, but it could well be an Italian name because, of course, her husband, Eduardo, is Italian, so there could be an Alessandro. This, of course, she's already a stepmother to his young son, so this will actually be his second child, and also the Queen's 12th grandchild.
She could put an O on the end of Filippo to make it sound sort of Italian-ish, but different.
Yes.
Not copying
We'll use one of the other great royal names, North or West. Harry is set to contribute to a documentary.
Ice cream.
Harry's going to contribute, apparently, to a documentary about his beloved grandfather, yeah?
That's right. They couldn't leave him out because they were asking all the grandchildren. This is called Philip the Family Remembers. It was actually started before Prince Philip died. It was due to commemorate his 100 years, which he would have turned in June. Obviously, he died shortly before that, and all 8 of his grandchildren have contributed to this tribute to him, including Harry. So I imagine that, you know, cameras have gone over there, or perhaps he will roll his contribution in when he brings Lilibet over to the UK to be christened. Who knows?
We can't wait for that one. If that happens, I'm going to get the popcorn, the choc tops, and just rolling coverage on those terse conversations. The lip readers will be out.
At least 50% of people on this couch cannot wait for that. Thanks, Ange.
Thanks.
I can't believe you're not excited about that. I think it would be amazing.